The opinions and views shared in this podcast are the opinions and views of the host and the host alone. They are not a reflection of his employer or any other organization that the host is a member of. The host does not speak for anyone, only himself.
This is the I Am Pitts podcast. Get ready for contact. Yeah, get some.
Any available unit. Copy on a shooting.
Oscar 37 en route.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Dex, the I Am Pitts, and I'm back after a long hiatus. We'll see how long I'm back, though. I'm not making any promises, man. And if, I'm sure some of you will notice this is also on video, not just audio. So I'm gonna give it a try again. Give this audio thing a shot, man. But man, hey, I hope you all have been doing well. Probably not doing well with all the craziness and chaos we have going on in the world today. Man, I'll tell you what, I missed you all. I do miss doing the show, but also at the same time, man, I kind of miss not being in the mix of everything going on in the world, media, law enforcement, man. And yeah, so, and I'll also let you all know, I've been off since, man, I had shoulder surgery November 3rd. And this is the longest I've been off in 17 years in this profession, man. And it's been kind of nice, with the exception of the amount of pain in there. And I think I told you all on the last time I did this, which was right after Charlie Kirk died. I did an episode, and man, I tore my shoulder up October 24, fighting a gay meth head that loved Trump, and man, and my shoulder got tore up, and I put the surgery off, and so I finally had the surgery done. And I will tell you all this was my 20th surgery. You all know my history and my past from being blown up in Iraq and knee surgeries and all the stuff that's attributed to policing, man. But let me tell you something. Shoulder surgery is the worst surgery you could probably ever have. And man, if you don't have to have it done, I advise you, please do not. I have been in extreme pain for the last 2.5 months, man. And I tell you what, I don't ever care to do it again. I have, man, it's been awful. I mean, you can't sleep. I was sleeping in my recliner in the living room for like 2 months. And I mean, man, it's just been horrible. And everybody's like, well, they gave you some good drugs. Yeah, I got good drugs. But let me tell you, I'm tired of taking the oxys, man. I'm tired of it. They clog up your system. You can't use the bathroom, itchy, and man, but I told myself I was going to be strong, and I was not going to partake in any narcotics because I was like, I'm going to grit it out. I got a pretty high pain tolerance. You know what? After that shoulder surgery, I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me get them drugs out. As a matter of fact, let me get them 7.5s, because these 5s ain't going to cut it. And so, man, I've been doing that. Man, I've been off for a while. I've been at home with the family, taking care of stuff around the house, trying to take care of myself, trying to get myself healthy and rehab so I can get back to the streets. And I've been going to physical therapy. That's been kicking my butt, man. And I'll tell you what, man, I thought I was going to go crazy after being off for so long, because I'm so used to the go, 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 hustle, 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 man, call to call to call, man, that I don't really take time in life often to stop and just kind of smell the roses and just kind of be in the moment, man. I'm just constantly going from one fire to the next. It's just kind of how I live my life, because I'm comfortable in chaos like that. But man, I thought I was going to go crazy, but man, after sitting on my couch for so long, I was sitting there, I was like, this is actually kind of nice. Just kind of kicked up, laid up, flying high on my Oxy 7.5, yo, and it was just, man, being home with my kids in the morning before they go to school, and then also being at home when they come back from school, it was kind of cool, man. But unfortunately, I tell my wife, it doesn't matter how much hard work I've done on the front end in law enforcement in the last 17 years. My kids are still calling me a couch potato and saying that I'm lazy, and I'm sitting here like, whoa, 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 whoa. The fact that I got hurt at work on the clock, trying to make a life better for you little Negroes. And now all of a sudden I'm lazy. Daddy always on the couch. Yeah, daddy's on the couch. Daddy's recovering from his 20th surgery. Daddy is 41. I am not a young officer no more, man. I am not. Yeah, but of course they're joking, but at the same time, daddy got a little bit of pride. Like, man, lazy, that is not in my DNA. Lazy is no part of is not in my vernacular. It's one thing they know, that daddy know how to work, yo. So yeah, it's been an adjustment for me being at home, man. But I tell you one thing I did realize is how much I really love my family. Like I knew I loved and liked my family. I knew I loved and liked my wife. And I tell you what, man, I've just fallen in love again with my wife, being around her this much. Christina, shout out to you, girl. Got to get you back on the show eventually, do another podcast. But man, him and just seeing my kids and just, man, it's just, I have a good life, man. I got a really good family, y'all. I really do. I just been taking more part in stuff in church and just really just kind of tapping into my life and just being present in the moment, man. And I gotta say, like, I'll be going back to work around February 9th. I'll be starting light duty, which I really don't want to do because I've never been on light duty in 17 years because I've always prided myself on getting hurt and getting back to work, y'all. And I was like, nope, I'm not going back to work unless I can hit the streets. And unfortunately, with this injury, it's going to take a little bit more, but hopefully I'll be hitting the streets back in coming up in hopefully March. But here's a funny thing though, man. My doctor, I'm not going to say his name on the show, but my doctor, he's a really good doctor. He's actually lives where I patrol. And he was telling me the other day, man, and I was doing my little my checkup, man. He was like, hey, man, you're 41 years old. And I got to tell you this. And he says, Pitts, you didn't learn to start shooting people more with your gun or your taser, less fighting. And it was funny because he was joking, but it was like, yo, he was halfway serious. And I was like, Doc, yeah, you trying to land me in jail, homie? You trying to land me in prison? But I understood what he was saying. He's like, yeah, man. Like, man, you got to slow it down a little bit. And I probably need to, but like I said, man, I'm a gutter dog. I love the streets. I love fielding calls. And yeah, I like being the first on scene. I like being the first through the door. And I like a good squabble, man. But unfortunately, my body is no longer set up to like that stuff and respond well to it. Despite the fact that I stay in pretty decent shape, man. 17 years of policing, it adds up. And then the military trauma on top of that, yeah, it adds up. So I understand what Doc is saying, man. But I'm looking at some other stuff. I might take the sergeant's test and all that. And looking at the Texas stuff, God no. I tell people I never wanted to be a detective. Like I'm sitting there watching the show currently with my wife, Southland, which came out when I was a rookie. It was 2009, and I'm just sitting here reliving all the stuff with my wife, telling her how the show was like so good to me at that time, and it was just like, man. And now I was doing that job at the same time the show was out, and I'm just sitting here like, man, can't believe it's been 17 years, and I'm just like, man, I'm no longer that young kid, that young ambitious officer. Although he's still in there, but I've changed, I still like doing the stuff, but yeah, my body's changing, so it's time for me to kind of slow down, man. I say that now until I go back to work in March, and next thing I'll be out there fighting, scraping, man. But also, just a little update for you all. I don't know about you all, but I've kind of grown weary of social media. And I say that as I'm sitting on here recording a video to put on YouTube and put out on my social media, Joe. But man, I got to tell y'all, dude, I've been laying low, real low. Like I said, I've been laying low from podcasting. And man, and actually, man, a couple weeks ago, man, I took down, well, I left it up. I'm not going to say I took down. I left up my social media, but I deleted all the apps from my phone. Man, I'm just getting tired of it all. I'm just fatigued to the nth degree, man. But there, man, everything just feels so fake, and everything just feels so created to just get clicks and likes. Nothing's genuine and nothing's real, man. And I just got tired of it, and I just got tired of feeling like I'm just another guy out here on the webs, the interwebs and on YouTube. And I'm this guy, click and subscribe. It's just, subscribe and share, And it's just like, man, I never got into this to be that guy. And, I just, I did this so, I could help promote some of my book, be an encouragement to police officers, and so many other reasons, man. But I mean, man, something about when you get involved in this way of life, in this, I call it a hobby, but when you get involved in podcasts and all that, man, I mean, you see the underbelly of things, you see the ruthlessness of it all, man. I was like, man, I don't really want to be a part of this anymore, So I started, that's why I stopped doing podcasts as much as frequently, because I just don't want to be another dude, man. Like, when I don't want to be a part of this. And then just the negativity, man, even when I'm not working on podcasting, just scrolling my timeline, the amount of negativity and division and the anti-American rhetoric, it just starts to get to you. And I'm sure everybody else probably feels that way at a certain point. Like, man, like what is going like why are we as Americans so hateful of our own country and our own fellow Americans? And man, why and just why are people just so mean, ugly, and nasty to each other? And we just say these crazy things online, dude. And I'm just like swimming in this negativity and this toxicity 24/7. And it's like I heard the voice of God telling me, Dex, take your piece, delete these apps, yo. And I've been on social media since it started, man. And I've never been the guy, I'm taking a break from social media. Everybody puts out their little post and I'm just taking a break from social media. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be back, yo. And I'm like, bro, just take a break, just leave. This ain't the airport. You don't have to announce your departure. And you know what, man? I just like, you know what? I just took my phone, man, and I just deleted all the social media apps, all of them. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I've been flying blind as to what's going on the last few weeks. But I had an account on Twitter, or X as they call it. But man, I never really got on there, but I hop on periodically to see the news and what's going on, because I did realize that, bro, I'm like so in the dark, and it's been kind of nice. I've been living like it's 1999, bro. I'm living like I just got a cell phone, or now like pre-cell phone era. I don't know what's going on. Unless I turn on the news on TV. I didn't know what was going on in the world. And I tell you what, I've been at peace, and it's been freaking great, man. I mean, man, I'm not signing on my timeline and seeing people argue and man, just going back and forth and all these horrible comments, man. And everybody's got an opinion, and everybody, this guy's that, and Trump this. And I was just like, man, it was just so peaceful. And I'm like, I should maybe keep this going. And I'm going to try to keep it going as long as possible. And, I mean, after I finish this show and put it out, I'll hop on, man, and do my cuts and all that, man, and put my stuff out there. But I'm not going to be thoroughly, deeply engaged with arguing and talking with people and commenting on stuff online. I'm just kind of over it. Like I said, I'm just tired of the negativity. I'm just tired of it, man. And then I just get so sick with people doing whatever they can for clicks. So that, I mean, man, what was really pushing me, man, was that the fact that after Charlie Kirk died, that was the last time I did a show, was right after Charlie Kirk died. RIP to my boy, man. But seeing everything happen with Candace Owens and the conspiracy stuff, man, like I couldn't do it, man. I'm just tired of seeing and hearing the Candace Owens conspiracies with Charlie Kirk, bro. I just can't do it no more, yo. And I'm just like, man, and then the amount of people buying into it and believing all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, are we this dumb as a society? Like, bro, like, yeah, we don't need a conspiracy. Like, evil people just exist in the world. Charlie was killed by this dude, allegedly. The court's still out there, but man, I'm pretty confident, man, that it was the guy. But but we don't need conspiracies for everything, man. Not everything's a conspiracy. There are some messed up people that walk amongst us, man. And there are some angry people, baby. And then Candace Owens just fueling this stuff, yo. And then people are just hopping on the bandwagon with her. And I'm just like reading the comments, like everything's not a conspiracy, man. And then it just makes my blood boil. But then the way that these people have been treating Charlie's widow, Erica Kirk, and talking about her, like she's already moved on, and blah, blah. And I'm like, have you all never met a widow in real life? Dude, they're irrational. The way they respond to do things is different than most people, man. It just is, yo. And just seeing the way Americans were treating Erica Kirk and talking about her online, bro, I was like, we acting like this woman didn't see her husband get his throat blown out in front of everybody, in front of the entire world a couple months ago, yo. Y'all already expect her to just kind of be, I don't know what y'all expect her to be, man. But everybody responds differently, and I was just got tired of that. And then God bless, man. Don't get me started on this. The Jews. I'm tired of anytime it's the Jews conspiracy. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, I mean, man, every time I turn around, the moment I talk to somebody and I hear something anti-Semitic or it's the Jews, I tune out. I can't do it. Won't do it. I ain't got nothing for it, man. I mean, I even had to stop listening to one of my favorite podcasts with Andy Frisella, Real AF podcast, because I mean, he just goes off and it's the Jews. I'm just like, not you too, bro. Like, and everybody I know, man, like people I respect and known, or just all of a sudden it's like, well, Dexter, Charlie Kirk was something about Israel. And yeah, and it's Israel. They're paying people $700. And I'm gonna sit here. They're paying Pitt $700. No, nobody's paying. No, nobody cares, man. And the Jews are not at the center of everything, man. They're just not. It's like, stop. Like, can we at least ground ourselves in reality every once in a while, man? Can we do that? But it feels like that is so hard to do now because it just social media has just dragged society to the bottom, to the depths of hell. And just we can't think logically, and we just can't reason. We're not reasonable people no more, man. And we live in these extremes, and I'm just like, I don't want to keep living like this, dude. I just don't, man. And then don't get me started, man, on the cop, the vet drama that has been going on. Like, I was really just I don't know, man, but it was the whole drama with like special forces operators and police officers. And then you got the anti-hero podcast guys doing their thing, and they split up, and then people, I mean, just the constant negativity with all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, man, I don't want to be a cop, bro. I don't want to be a vet, bro. Like I was just getting so disgusted with everything and everybody. And like I said, it's not, and nobody did anything or said anything to me directly, but just sitting back from afar, watching my profession and watching veterans, we are supposed to be people of integrity. We are supposed to be people of just a higher standard, and it just to see us constantly taking part in soap opera drama, and I was just like, man, and here I am, just talking about people and not really talking about people, just engaging in the conversation about stuff going on, and I'm just like, why am I even discussing any of this? Because it has nothing to do with me. And I was just sitting there like, man, I don't want to be associated with this stuff. I don't, this isn't what I want for my life. This isn't what I started social media for. This isn't what I started the podcast for, to be a gossip queen. And I'm just sitting here like, man, that's when I knew. I was like, bro, it's time to step away from podcasting and social media for a while. And it's been so good. Like I question if I really want to fully come back, man. But here's what I'll say, man. Things have gotten so crazy and chaotic, man. And I just sometimes look at everything going on, and I say, I don't want to be a part of it. But unfortunately, if somebody doesn't step up and try to bring a reasonable point of view to the chaos and the fringes continue to win. And so I'm in a point where it's like, man, do I fight back or do I just let the chaos have its way? Because at a certain point, like, it's going to catch up to you, and mentally, physically. And I mean, man, I don't want to live in this environment. But at the same time, there's something inside of me that says, Dex, you got to go and try to be the voice of reason, even though people don't want reasonableness, because reasonableness does not get clicks, does not get views. Me sitting here talking to you and trying to be honest and genuine, it's not going to get me clicks and views. And I tell people, I've never got into this for clicks and views. Unfortunately, it goes that way, and clicks and views is what drives your algorithm, I guess. And I don't feel like trying to find out the algorithm and all that crap, man. I just want to be a dude. I just want to be a homie. I just want to get on here, say my thoughts, be reasonable, meet cool people, make some good connections, man. Help, somebody, interview people, man, and just kind of, that's it. I really don't want much more than that. But like I said, that's hard to do and be in a society that cherishes chaos instead of reasonableness, man. And I feel like, you know what, man, I'm gonna hop on and do a podcast today because there's so much chaos going on. And it's like, man, I just feel like we have to have somebody that's reasonable. And I'm trying to be that voice or trying to be that guy. So, that's why I came back today, man. And it's definitely good to be back. Like I said, I don't want to be just another, vet bro or just another cop, bro. And here's the other part why I left too. Being a podcaster used to mean something, but now it's so cliche because everyone does it. And not all of us should have access to a microphone. Some people might look at me in my podcast and say the same thing. You don't need to be on there, and that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinions, bro. But I've seen and come across a lot of people that have shows, and I'm just like, bro, you don't need to be representing nobody. You don't need to be talking about nobody. You don't need to be trying to explain anything. You got your two little brain cells, bro. You're trying to rub together to form a sentence, and you just can't even get that together, bro. Like, you're just not a good representation of policing. You're not a good representation of veterans, yo. But because it's so easy to get a fight microphone and a camera and just sit here and just say ridiculous off the wall stuff, nobody's going to question you about it. Because it's the First Amendment. We have freedom of speech, man. But dude, like, it's so overwhelming, extremely overwhelming. And like I said, I hate telling people that I podcast because everybody podcasts now. It's just so cliche. It's worse than being an influencer, if you ask me. Because my God, you at least got to bring something to the table to be an influencer, or you got to get deals and all stuff. And but podcasting now, you just be a dude just like me, microphone and a camera, get on there and run and shoot off the mouth and just say whatever's on your mind, and nobody's gonna say anything, man. So, like I said, yeah, I've had a lot going on, just mentally, emotionally, just trying to figure out where I'm going with this thing and just trying to figure out what's up, bro. But like I said, I'm back, and man, it feels good to be back sitting here. And man, I'll tell you what, I haven't said this in a long time, but it feels good to be an American. I'm proud to be an American again. And I hate to say that it's not that I ever stopped being proud to be an American, but I started questioning how other people felt to be an American. I mean, man, I've just seen this decline in patriotism over the years, and the anti-American rhetoric, as I was saying earlier, just really, really bothered me, man. And I just started, like I said, just I'm not, I can't say that I'm not proud to be an American, but I'm questioning everybody else's motives. And of course, it's weird for me that you live here and you're not proud to be an American. But I tell you what, man, after that raid in Venezuela on Maduro and his compound, when my boys, the U.S. Army, then there was the 160th SOAR and Delta Force swooped in and took this man out of his bed in the middle of a military base, in the middle of his country, a sitting quote unquote president, leader. Bro, I was so proud, man. And like, this is what I was telling y'all. Like, I did not know this happened because I've not been on social media. And then I hopped on X real quick, and I was like, it was like 24 hours later. I was like, yo, what? And a part of me, was like wanting to get on Facebook and just post like, oh, I'm so proud to be an American. And I was like, you know what, yo, I'm not even doing that, man. I'm just gonna enjoy this moment by myself. Be proud to be an American, and you know what? And I'm just gonna leave it at that. I didn't comment, didn't say nothing, but deep down, man, I'm sitting here. The national anthem's playing in my mind. I'm holding a salute to the TV as Trump's walking through, and I'm just sitting here like, man, we are still the baddest mofos on earth. No one can touch us. No one is close with our capabilities, man. And I mean, like this raid is a byproduct of having a strong president with a strong administration. And man, it's been so long since I've seen something like that. It's been so long since any of us seen anything like that. And yeah, like I said, yeah, I like Trump. I don't like everything he does. I don't like everything he says, and that's okay. But I respect the man's workability and his capabilities and what he does, though, man. I might not like the delivery, but I like the results. And I'll tell you what, swooping into the Venezuela like that, bro, like just like some silent killer gangster stuff, I was like, man, bro, I was full salute, dude. Full salute, man. And it's so good to see that we still have young, hungry soldiers out there, man, and military folks, and like, we all know, we all bag on this generation of youngins and they're soft and whatnot. But let me tell you something. These dudes, man, they accomplishing that mission, you got to be on something like some serious psychopath, serial killer crap to even make it to Delta Force. And these dudes are still out there killing it. So hats off to Delta Force, man. And I mean, man, it's so refreshing because we're starting to get away from the DEI focused military crap, and that's because you can't function as a world power, as a superpower. Man, you can't have a good military if all you're focused on is diversity, equity, and inclusion, man. That does not make you lethal. Diversity does not make you lethal. All you need is this person qualified to do this job? Is this person going to have my back when it goes down, man? That's all we need. But we, as the American military, have to focus on lethality. That's all we need to be concerned about, man. That's all, bro. And look at that, man. People around the world are once again fearing America. That makes me proud to say I'm an American. I mean, I think I hang the flag back here. Yes, man, I'm absolutely proud to be an American. I'm proud to see our military getting back to what it should be. And I know people are mad at Trump and people don't like Hegseth or, making it harder for women to be in combat and all this, people crying. I'm like, you know what? If you've never been to combat, you wouldn't understand. Because I guarantee you, if you're sitting there on the front line and bullets start flying, you're going to want somebody that can pass a PT test at a high standard, not at a minimal level. And that's what it should be, man. The military does not exist to be a dog and pony show. The military exists for one thing, and that is to kill the enemies of America and our nation and our interest. That is it, man. That is it. And so, man, like I said, it's just a lot been going on. But like I say, even though I've always been proud to be an American, man. I remember when these thoughts of, man, what's going on with America started to creep into my mind. And I tell people this all started right around 2015. And but just that's when I started kind of really noticing the change, man. And at this point, man, I'm kind of like about 5 years in my police career, and I saw that America was changing, and just 2020 really solidified for me that America was changing. But it was the summer of 2018, when I really took notice of how things had changed. And so now what we have going on now in America, I'm sure everybody's all aware of the ICE protests and everybody, we can't, nobody's illegal on stolen land. We're all familiar with all the chants, man. We're all familiar with the ICE protest in Minneapolis and Minnesota. We're all familiar with what's going on, man. Trump is coming in and cleaning house, and absolutely bravo. There's no way you should be in America and be comfortable living here if you know you came here illegally. Like, there's just no way a criminal should be able to live in your community comfortably knowing that he's going in, breaking into your houses at night and stealing your stuff. But nobody should feel that comfortable in a place where they're knowing they shouldn't be. And that's what we have now. But everybody's sitting here looking at this stuff like this is all brand new. And none of this is brand new. It's all recycled chaos, man. And guess what? We've seen this playbook before. And not now. Like I said, if you're paying attention, if you pay attention over the years, this is the same playbook. It's just got different players, man. Different faces, man. But I remember going back to the summer of 2018, man. And I'm sitting here in Louisville, and I forgot what sparked it, what popped it off. Who knows? But I just remember being downtown, man, and just all of a sudden we start getting these pop-up protests, man, and it's abolish ICE, abolish ICE, abolish ICE. And of course it's attributed to Donald Trump, his immigration, and that's what I think sparked it. I think the Muslim ban and all that, people, were getting upset, Donald Trump deporting people, but I just pulled this picture up, man, and I just remember how much chaos it was then, and it was light chaos. It wasn't as heavy as it was now, but people were downtown, and I remember they set up a camp at the Department of Homeland Security office in downtown Louisville at like 6th or 7th and Jefferson or in Broadway, man. And I just remember sitting here like being a young officer, like, yo, what is going on, man? And then I just remember like the pace of things slowly started to pick up. But we started getting called to this location more and more, and just seeing all this craziness and foolishness, man. And then I remember one day we got called to a building downtown where they were holding court, or it was like some sort of law office. It's like 8 years ago. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly, but they were having, it was like a place that had court for illegals and all this stuff, man. And then they staged a sit-in. And this was one of the first few times you look at this picture where I came across these people. And I call them these people because they're a special breed. They're a special breed of stupid. They really are, man. And this, like, if you look at the lady's shirt, in the war on black people and brown people. And I mean, this was the first time I started realizing how mentally unstable people on the left could be. And now I'm not saying that people on the right aren't. We saw mentally unstable people on January 6th. But when the fringes start coming together, things get bad. And if you look at the picture here, you can see they have this thing in their arm called the sleeping dragon, man. It's like some sort of plaster thing, and they got like hooks in there, So what they were doing, they were sitting in front of the elevators protesting, and guess what? We couldn't get in there to do what we needed to do. So we started to have to cut these like little sleeping dragon devices off these people, man. And I tell you what, I'm sitting there the whole time, and yeah, it was an interesting experience. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And so I decided to also, probably shouldn't be saying it, but I'm going to say it now because it's been 8 years and I'm no longer with the Louisville Metro Police Department. Got a little video. And I'm sorry if the video is choppy. But as you can see, they're all there. They're all chained together. A bunch of far leftists.
Y'all about to get up out of here. Can't stay. Gotta go.
So yeah, so man, that was from my Snapchat, and like I said, yeah, but that was from 8 years ago, man. But this was like things in the city started to swell, man. And people were really coming out of the woodworks, and then all of a sudden, you just started hearing all these people, abolish ICE, abolish ICE, abolish ICE. And I'm just sitting here like, why would we want to abolish the immigration services in this country? Like, we have borders for a reason. We have to have borders because not everybody that's here should be here, man. And then I remember, like, everything kind of hit a fever pitch at one point. And I can't remember who gave the order, the chief or the mayor, but they were like, we got to go take this camp down. And so I remember going down there and taking apart this taking apart the little stupid camp that they had set up downtown. Like I said, this was 2018, man. And at this point, I'm already getting ready to leave and go to the Border Patrol, at this point. But my application was still in the works. And I remember I was working off duty at a place in downtown, like during this time period. And this Hispanic guy came over and started talking to me. He was an immigration guy. And he was just trying to like make small talk with me, like, officer, what's next for you? I told him, I was like, I'm doing the Border Patrol, homie. He was like, I'd highly recommend against that, sir. I was like, I don't care what your recommendation is. I'm doing this. This is what I want to do. And this is what I'm going to do. And I did it, man. And so, yeah, man, I remember this picture of me popped up on Facebook somewhere, bro. And I just remember like just looking at myself like, man, I look like one angry person, but I wasn't angry. But I was just in deep thought and questioning, like, who are these people and where do they come from? Like, like, how does someone become this radicalized? How does someone become this hateful towards people, bro? That they just want to sit somewhere and protest. Like, who has time for this, man? Like, why are we seeing these people? Where are they coming from, man? And I started looking into stuff more and more and more, doing more research, learned about paid protesters, then I just started paying more and more attention. And then as the years trickled on, I just started seeing patterns with these people, and I just started making connections to the past. It was just like with 2015 when Mike Brown got shot and killed. I noticed it's the same core group of people. It's the same core group of losers. And I'm calling these people losers because that's what they are. If you have enough time to go out and protest and sit in front of an elevator and put your arms in these devices, if you have that much time on your hands, you are a loser. And I'm saying that as a guy that, hey, I believe in protesting, bro. But I'll be honest, there's not a lot I come across in America, that I was like, I need to go protest about this. I don't have time to protest. I have to work. I need to work. I got bills. I got wife. I got kids. I got ambition beyond being a paid protester, man. That's nothing that I want, man. And so, man, when 2020 rolled around, I just remember seeing all this stuff and I just picking up and noticing the patterns that were happening. And it was just sitting here and I'm sitting here like, and I remember seeing some of the same faces, the same people from 2018 and 2020, the same chants, the same bullhorns, the same anger, the same focus, man. Like I said, their focus is not on justice. The focus is the revolution. The focus is taking down America. The focus was in 2020, in 2018, it was defunding NICE. Then in 2020, we moved to, guess what? We need to defund the police. And like I said, and then I told you all years ago on this podcast, a couple years ago, when I was like, man, but 2020 might be done for now, but it's not dead. It's just laying dormant. And that is what has been happening for the last few years. It's just been laying dormant. It's been waiting for its next victim. It's just been sitting here waiting for the next big thing. And then now all of a sudden we have ICE all over Minneapolis and all over the country coming up and snatching people out of their homes, out of their jobs, and snatching people up on the streets. Now you got these extreme woke leftists out here with their rape whistles, blowing their whistles and like running up on federal agents. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, this is the same thing I experienced in 2020. Like seeing people, and now we're at the point where guess what? People are now bringing out their weapons, and now people are doing the same thing they did to us, to the agents, to the ICE agents that they did to me in 2020, standing in front of me with the rifle, daring me to do my job. And guess what? I couldn't say nothing about it because this is America. We have the Second Amendment, and I can't be mad at an American citizen having a gun. But I can tell you this, though. If you pull out that rifle and you're not trained at it, and you approach me and you make the slightest wrong move, you going to get blasted. And man, I remember sitting in 2020 downtown, man, and I was arresting somebody. And I remember this fat white chick and fat white dude, both of them, you know, straight up Antifa, rushing towards us with their rifles at the low ready. And I had my handgun out in my hand. And I just remembered, I was like, I could kill both of you right now before you even get your rifles up and zeroed in on me. Because I could tell by the way they were handling the rifles that, guess what, man? They didn't train with the thing. They didn't know anything about these rifles, bro. They didn't know They didn't know how to handle the weapon. You can look at somebody that's handling the weapon, tell that they're not skilled at it, yo. And I was just like, these people are just here to be here. And they serve no lawful purpose being here. And like I said, these are the same people that are out here following around agents in their car. You mean to tell me, yo, that your life is so boring that all you do is get in your car and go and follow people at work, trying to make America better, trying to remove criminals and sex offenders from America. And the highlight of your day is following these people around and harassing them. What sense does that make? How? And like I said, I try to be reasonable. Help me understand at what point is it reasonable to do such a thing, you know? And it's not. But like I said, these people are not reasonable. These people are only concerned about the revolution. There's nothing that these people want that's reasonable. They don't want police. They don't want law enforcement. They don't want America. And I have no use for somebody that has that type of mentality or attitude. I mean, if you don't like America, I hate to say it, friend, you're my enemy. Because I love America. This is my home. I've almost died for this flag behind me. This is my country. And I will fight for my country tooth and nail. But at the same time, I will also fight for my fellow American citizens, yo. And like, hey, if you come here legally, I'm not against immigration. I'm against illegal immigration. That is a complete different thing, man. And then so now, like I said, we're here in 2026, and all I'm hearing is the same rehearsed lines over and over. Like I said, in 2020 or 2018, it was defund ICE. 2020, guess what? It was defund the police. And now, like I said, we're in 2026. Here we are.
Beyond reform. ICE is totally out of control. And this week, I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE. We need to make ICE go away.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. That's the guy. He's a senator from Michigan. And I was like, man, like, one, who voted for this dude? One. Two, you can barely speak English. How in the world did you get into office? Like, bro, like, come on, man. And it makes my blood boil to hear this guy who's clearly a foreigner, man. But dude, you came here legally the right way, but for some odd reason, you have no problem. You have no problem with getting rid of the complete immigration system and enforcing laws. You have no problem with it, man. And this is why I'm like, man, how did we get to this point in America where we have people like this guy, Ilhan Omar, the squad, and all these people that are just completely anti-American and hate America? Of course, they're going to say, Republicans don't like America. And come on, man. Are there people on the right that are crazy, don't like America? Yes. Well, and because they have a different vision and view of America, which is perfectly fine. But don't sit here and tell me that you love America, but you don't like our laws. And you think that we're being too harsh on immigrants. It doesn't jive like that for me. It doesn't work like that for me, man. And so, like I said, I'm seeing these patterns. And I remember the same with 2015 with the Mike Brown stuff. I remember, oh my God, man, like just, police chiefs curving to the to the crowds and just, police chiefs just getting on their, not necessarily get on the knees, but just kind of bowing to the crowd and just kind of say, hey, we're out of this, we're done. We weren't enforcing the law. 2018 was a little different. I saw us actually enforcing the law, like when we took down the ICE encampment, man. But then 2020, bro, it was like bulls on parade. The amount of cowardice I saw amongst police leadership, especially in Louisville, bro, broke my heart, man. Broke my heart, because I've always been a proud police officer. And I tell people I believe in right and wrong. Yes, but also at the same time, in this profession I work in, there is a lot of gray area, yo. But at the same time, man, there are certain times you just kind of have to take a stand, and we have to do our jobs, but we also have to protect one another. And so now we have ICE agents that are saying that they're not getting any support from the local police department, and that local police departments and police chiefs now view these guys as a threat to society, and they view them as thugs. They don't consider them fellow law enforcement officers. And I look at it like this, yo. Yes, are ICE agents police officers? Absolutely not. But here's the thing. They are LEOs, law enforcement officers. When I was in the Border Patrol, I was constantly reminded that, Agent Pitts, you are not a police officer. You do not enforce local laws. You are an immigration officer, and I enforce immigration law. Keyword, law. They are enforcing immigration law. Therefore, they are law enforcement officers. And then I think it was last week, I saw this Medea looking, grandma looking, like old Southern black woman that is a sheriff in the Philly area, man, talking about ICE officers and saying that they're fake and pretend officers.
Fake wannabe law enforcement, because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you. The criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail.
So when she said you don't want this smoke, only thing I kept thinking that was on her mind was smoked brisket of some sort of smoked meat or some sort of smoked food. But grandma, get out of here. Like, seriously, who are you to say that somebody is not a real law enforcement officer and saying that they're breaking the law by enforcing immigration law? This is what people like her are my issue with DEI hire. You sitting up here telling somebody that they're not a real law enforcement officer, knowing your big self ain't probably passed a PT test and God knows how long. You can't do a sit-up. Look, you probably can't even bend down to tie your shoe over your belly and your gun belt. Girl, there is nothing you could do to me or anybody out on the streets with your badge and on gun on you. You just don't have the physical ability to, man. But yet somehow you think that you are the law, and that you are the supreme leader of policing. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, that's absolutely not the case. Like, you're not a representative of law enforcement just because you have on a freaking uniform, man. Yeah, yeah. I'm just sitting here looking at her like, you are a disgrace. Look at you. You need to be somewhere cuddling your grandchildren. You need to be somewhere like on a beach or something, girl. This is not for you. This is for people like me. I'm 41 going on 42, but I'm in still decent shape. When I arrive on scene, I still have a command presence. Sweetie, you don't even have a command presence. You don't. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you are where you are. You probably don't. And you probably think you did something with that speech. All you did was, you know what? You infuriated me and made me realize, you know what? I got to get back on my podcast. I got to speak out. I got to say something, man. I got to, man. The lack of leadership and the lack of people like her leading a bunch of officers, that's a scary thought, man. And what's still saying? A sheep cannot lead a pride of lions. You just cannot. And unfortunately, this is what we get now because, DEI has infiltrated America across the country. Yeah, we're going away from it, man. But that crap is still deeply entrenched in America right now. And when you have people like her controlling the ship that can't even support fellow law enforcement officers and does not recognize their power and authority to do what they're doing, that is a problem. That is somebody that is not dedicated to law enforcement. She is dedicated to her political ideology. She is dedicated to being a DEI hire. She is dedicated to leftism. She's dedicated to wokeism. Because if a ICE agent is on the radio and gets shot and I'm working, guess what I'm doing? I'm dropping what I'm doing and I'm driving to go assist them and help save a fellow law enforcement officer. Like I say, people might not like ICE's tactics. Guess what? They don't care. And the whole reason this is happening right now, why ICE is doing what they're doing, is because the last president left the borders wide open and let millions upon millions of people into America who should not be here. None of them. And so now guess what? We have to go back and undo everything that's been done by the Biden administration. And it's ugly work. It is ugly work. Yeah. And I tell people, I understand why people don't like what they're seeing. Yeah. It looks bad, when you like roll up in an unmarked vehicle and you with the jump out squad, bro, and you jump out, you got on your vest and hoodies, man. It looks bad, but guess what? That is what it's going to take. And guess what? It needs to be happening more and more often, man. We're going to have to step up the pace, man, because we got a long way to go. And then it just bothers me seeing when a police officer, I use that term loosely, or a police leader for this fat black chick as a sheriff, bro. Like I use that term very loosely, but when we take the time in our uniform to talk down other law enforcement officers and delegitimize them, it makes it okay for the public to do what they do. It makes it okay for Renee Good, who was shot and killed by the ICE officer, to do what she did. It justifies them and what they're doing, their crazy actions, and there's no justification for it. Zero, man. And so, everybody's been talking about the Renee Good shooting and the ICE officer. So I wanted to give my little opinion on it, man. And it was in 2020, it was George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. That was like the height of things in the 2020, man. Like, them two dying, getting killed while law enforcement was involved, man. Like, that put America at a tipping point. And then I was front and center for it. And dude, honestly, just watching these ICE officers out in the streets being surrounded, bro, it gives me chills, man, because it's like, I know what that's like. I lived that for almost 2 years as an officer on the streets in Louisville. Like the stress and the anxiety, the not knowing, man. And dude, it's so stressful on you, your families. I mean, man, we were making a lot of money, but I didn't care about money at that point in time. Only thing I had on my mind was surviving. That's all I cared about. Like, man, just get home to my family, man, at the end of the day. I'll spend the money later. Well, correction. My wife was spending it when I was working, but that's what it's for, though. But yeah, man, we started getting off into these deep debates about, justified shooting, not justified. And, and I understand both sides of the argument, especially in reference to the Renee Good shooting that just happened in Minneapolis. And I want to give my 2 cents on it. Was it a good shoot or a bad shoot? Now, if you've ever listened to this podcast, you've heard me use a term that says lawful but awful. And so, but like I said, am I biased towards police officers? Absolutely. But I'm also a reasonable person because I try to step back and I try to look at things and examine them and be honest and give an honest, no BS assessment of the situation, So my first take with Renee Good, one, was she in the wrong? Absolutely. One, she shouldn't have been there. This is what happened when liberal white women, for some odd reason, love interjecting themselves in crap they have no business interjecting themselves in. And everyone say, well, this is our neighborhood. This is our city. Blah, 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 blah. I can do what I want. First Amendment. Yes, you have the First Amendment right to go out and protest. If you want to follow federal agents around in cars that these guys are armed to the T, you can do that. But I don't think people remember that you have rights, but rights also come with responsibilities. And there's also consequences that come from doing these things, So yeah, so like she was in her wife, whatever, they were in the wrong, man. They should not have been following these federal agents around. And then people I watched the video and people are like, she wasn't blocking the street. She was just there letting traffic through. I'm like, look, you tell me at what in any point when you driven down the street, you seen a car parked horizontally across the street. Never. Why is a car parked like that in the middle of the street? There's no reason for that to be unless, and guess what? You're trying to block traffic. You're trying to block somebody's avenue of escape. You're trying to block somebody's getaway point, man. And that's exactly what she was doing. She was wrong. She put herself in a situation she did not have to be in. And so, yes, she was in the wrong. Now, in reference to the ICE officer that shot her, was he in the wrong? It gets a little complicated, man. I'll say I think the shooting was absolutely justified. I think he's going to be tried and he's going to be found, innocent of all charges. He's not guilty of murder. But just because I say that he's not guilty of murder does not mean I think he did the right thing at the right time. And like I say, but some people are going to disagree with that assessment, but I'm speaking as an officer from 17 years. And this is why I say that, man. Hindsight is 2020. It's easy for me to say this because I'm sitting behind my computer and I'm not under stress. I don't have people yelling around me, yelling and screaming at me, blowing rape whistles and calling me a Nazi and crap. But I've been there before, so I can make this assessment. I've been there before. Yes, you get tunnel vision, but man, you have to, as an officer, you are highly trained, better trained than the average person, and you have to plan accordingly, tactically, to put yourself in an advantage in a position that's going to benefit you and keep you out of danger. And so, man, I remember when I was a younger officer learning this lesson the hard way, because, man, they teach us in the academy, never stand in front of a car that's got a suspect in it. Why? Because just simple science and physics, a 200-pound human body versus a 1,000-pound vehicle, the vehicle wins every time. Yeah. Just because you stand in front of a car with your hand up and say, stop in the name of the law, does not stop the vehicle from hitting you and running you over, yo. So you have to place yourself at a tactical advantage, yo. And so I'm not saying that the ICE agent put himself in that position on purpose, but I'm just saying I think that he was so locked in and had tunnel vision, and just trying to record and take care of the situation, that he was not paying attention, to his location and where he was, man. And like I said, it happened to me when I was a young officer. I remember we had a car stop downtown, and like it was some black sovereign citizens, man. And I'm sitting there, talking to these guys, we got other officers on scene, and I'm just sitting here doing my thing, man. And an officer pulls me by the back, like, "Are you stupid?" I'm just like, "Who you calling stupid, bro? What are you talking about?" It's like, "Look where you're standing, man." And I look, I'm between my police car and I'm behind the suspect vehicle, the vehicle in front of us. And he told me, Pitts, think about this. If this guy decided all of a sudden that he didn't want to be here and he put this car in reverse, what's going to happen to you? Bro, I would have turned into Lieutenant Dan. That car, I would have got pinched and sandwiched between my police car and the suspect vehicle. And I would have been killed or lost my legs, bro. And you know why? I just wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was just focused on doing my job. And ever since that moment, anytime I come up to a vehicle, I always approach at an angle, like I'll always try to be mindful of the suspect, the situation and my location where I'm at. And I always try to put myself in a place of advantage to where if somebody tries to drive at me, all I got to do is take a step to the side, yo. And like, I don't have to do anything crazy and I'm out of the danger zone. I'm off the X, as we say. And man, I don't think like this officer at that point in time was thinking about that. Like I said, he was just doing his job, yo. But honestly, I feel like personally did he have to shoot her? I don't think he did. Was he wrong for doing it? I don't think he was wrong, but I don't think he was right either. I think he just made a split-second decision. And I think he believed that his life was absolutely in danger. And here's the thing. People are arguing that she didn't mean to, she didn't mean to hit him. She didn't mean it. She was trying to avoid him. And I actually, believe it or not, I actually agree with that assessment that I don't know the lady I don't know Renee Good, never met her, don't care. Hey, it is what it is, man. I'm not going to dance on her grave, bro. But I honestly don't think that it was her intent to hit the guy. I do think that she was just trying to get the hell out of Dodge. However, your intent, I don't know your intent. The ICE officer didn't know her intent either. And all he knows is, you know what? I'm getting ready to get hit by this car. And so she put this man in a position to where he feared for his life and his safety. And he did what he felt he had to do at that time. And like I said, I think he probably could have just sidestepped or put himself in a better position. And it would have been absolutely fine. And she would have gone on. And guess what? They would have found her later. And we wouldn't be having this discussion now. But that's not what happened. He made the choice to pull his weapon in a defensive manner. And he shot this chick in the face. And guess what? He's not wrong. Like I said, I don't think it's the best. I don't think he made the best decision at the moment, but he made a decision. And you know what? I'm not going to question the guy for that. Like I said, I've been in plenty of situations where I probably could have shot and killed somebody. And I didn't do it because I just felt like, can I? Yes. Should I? No. And you know what? I'm glad I've made those decisions multiple times in my career because, man, but you have to look at the consequences down the line of your actions, man, in a moment. And when I tell people that, I don't think the average person understands that a police officer has to make these split-second decisions, and they have to look at, man, what's my sergeant going to say? What's the chief going to say? What's the community going to say? What's the council going to say if I do this, man? You're thinking about all these things in a matter of like 5-10 seconds, yo. And like, you have to make a decision. And that's why I preach to officers. Put yourself at a better tactical position to put yourself in a position to win and go home, man. And I've seen so many videos of officers in 17 years putting themselves in bad tactical positions in front of cars, bro. Stop doing it, man. Stop. You don't need to stand in front of a vehicle. You are a human being. Your badge does not make you Superman. You are going to die, my friend, or you're going to end up paralyzed or in the hospital and losing your career, man. There's no need for us to be getting dragged by cars, like us jumping into cars, and which I'm guilty of. I've jumped into cars before, man. I'm not saying it to just say it to you. I'm saying it because I've done it. I've made bad decisions, man, but I learned from those decisions, yo, man. At some point in time in this profession, we got to learn, man. We just don't get in front of a moving vehicle. Even if the vehicle is not moving, assume that it is getting ready to move. Think about your wife, your kids. Think about your career and your health, man. It's not worth it. If the guy behind the vehicle is a suspect of any sort, guess what? Man, just don't even do it, bro. Just take your time and move out the way, man. Just make a better decision, man. That's all you got to do. And man, so before I get off this topic, dude, I do want to say this. As we sit here and all this ICE stuff is going on, I remember the build up to September 2021. It was after the Breonna Taylor verdict. They found her not guilty. And man, I just remember it was like the media, politicians, social media, everybody was just hyping up people in the community to go out and like commit violence, man. And I remember people started, calling for death of officers and stuff, yo. And like, I had at that point in time, I had very little faith in the American public. And sometimes I still really don't. But man, I just saw the calls for violence and growing and increasing, man. And I'm like I said, this is the same playbook. We've been here before. I've seen this. And this road we're on with ICE after this Renee Good shooting and all the the hyperbole and just the tension, man. This road only goes one place and in one's place. And it ends with the death of an ICE agent. It's already ended with the death of a protester. But the next road is the death of an ICE agent at the hands of somebody mentally unstable that has access to a firearm and using their Second Amendment, and exercising their Second Amendment, man. That's the only logical ending to this. And I say that because it happened to me. When me and my boys were shot at in I think September 21st, 2021, man. They gunned us down right in the middle of Broadway. Two of my fellow officers were shot in front of me, man, because the media kept hyping people up. And I feel like it's even worse now because, like I said, everybody's got TikTok, everybody's got social media, and everybody has the ability to hop on and just flame the fans. And I told people, man, like we're seeing it now, like the Black Panthers are starting to come back out. Had the same thing in 2021, but it was the Not Effing Around coalition marching down the streets with their firearms, man. And yes, I'm all for it. I'm all for you carrying your firearm. But think about what you're doing before you pick up that gun. Because, man, not everybody that has a gun is trained and equipped to handle that weapon. And all it takes is one spark to start a forest fire and burn the entire forest down. And now, unfortunately, we have so many sparks. We have so many sparks across the country right now, especially in Minneapolis, that it's going to take one spark to end up getting an agent killed. And it's videos like this that I see that make me worry more and more and more and more about what's going to happen in Minneapolis.
Hey, kill these ICE agents, bro.
Do the thing that you're supposed to do. Utilize the Second Amendment.
They are going to murder us all. Hello?
Is that bulletproof vest even bulletproof anymore?
This can't be happening! Fucking pathetic worm.
These pussy-ass ICE motherfuckers, they're gonna start catching a hell of a lot more than snowballs.
Like, if you wear an ICE badge, from now on, I would expect people to start mag-dumping you.
I encourage everyone who sees this video to bear arms and practice your Second Amendment right.
Minding their business. Boo! That's how we need to start doing them.
We're not gonna go get justice. We're gonna go get revenge. We're gonna round up a whole lot of motherfuckers.
Hey, if you're an ICE agent, this might be a good time to kiss your spouse and kids goodbye, because you know what? You might not be coming home tomorrow.
Was that just her? There are a lot of people.
Gang, they done found you and your whole family.
Oh, if you slime the fuck out of an ICE agent, just say you were with me, and I'll corroborate the story.
Like, hello? Knock, knock, knock. Are you home? Wake up!
Rage.
Fuck, I hate it here!
The YNs know we about to go into martial law. We need these YNs to step up. These young boys that's running around these ski masks, these super United States gangsters.
I'm trying to figure out why we're not shooting them.
Like I said, man, stick with me, man. I'm still still kind of figuring out the audio thing, but go ahead and remove that for now. But man, like I said, but that's what we're seeing now. I've seen a lot of videos on X of people just having these complete meltdowns, telling others to go out and kill people. This is a lot more than I saw in 2020, man. A whole heck of a lot more. I feel like the cheese has fully slidden off the cracker with these individuals, Joe, and things are at a tipping point, man. And unfortunately, I think that we're going to lose an ICE agent. And I hate to say that because, like I said, I've seen this playbook, I've seen this movie before, and it only ends one way. And that's the last thing I want to see, man. I don't want to see us have to bury an ICE agent, a person who's probably just a decent guy, saw an opportunity to go, take care of his country, clean his country up, and free his country of illegals and criminals, just doing a job, man. But these people won't let him. And these people now see these guys as Nazis and public enemy number one. They don't see them as fellow Americans doing a job, man. They don't. They are beyond brainwash. And these people really think, like the white girl in the video that said, they're going to kill us all. Like I said, there's no such thing as reasonableness with these people. These people really think that ICE agents are storming into Americans' homes and taking Americans out of the house and deporting them. I mean, if you could tell me how you deport an American citizen, I don't know. You can educate me. I mean, send me an email, send me a message on social media if you can tell me how ICE agents can deport an American citizen. They can't. They're not here for that. They're here for people that have come to the country legally and shouldn't be here, man. But you see these white women on here, these liberal white women, just going out of their mind saying that they're going to kill us all. And that's not even politically, it's not correct. It's incorrect. So they're spreading a false message, getting people hyped up and amped up, getting people ready to go out here to kill, man. And so, like, it's just, for me, it bothers me. It bothers me. It scares me. I'm gonna be honest. It scares me, man. Because like I said, I know where this is going to end, dude. And it's nowhere good, man. Nowhere good. These people are all about the revolution, the communist Marxist revolution. That's all they care about. They don't love America. They just want socialism and communism. That's all. That's their love language. That's what they do. And guess what? You're the only thing standing in the way of them doing it. And so am I, man. And speaking of revolutions, man, I find it awkward that for the last few years, we've had so many protests in this country in support of Islam, in support of Palestine, and free Palestine from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. We have had so many Americans on this train cheering for these people, but now all of a sudden there's an actual revolution happening, in which the people of Iran are trying to free themselves from an oppressive regime. But yet, there's not been not one protest in support of the people of Iran. Not one. Y'all find that strange at all? It's okay to it's okay to protest for Palestine, but God forbid the people of Iran decide they want to be free. And I mean, they're getting slaughtered in the streets by the thousands. I've seen that like upwards of 5,000 people have been killed trying to fight back against the regime, but the news isn't reporting it. There's nobody on social media really talking about it except conservatives and people that are trying, pro-Trump, but the left does not care. It's just so weird. And it's just so, I don't understand, like the reasoning and the logic behind the left, because there is none. Like I said, all they care about is the revolution, but the revolution has nothing to do with Iran, apparently, man. So I want to wish everybody in Iran, I know y'all not going to see this, but I'm letting people know where I stand. I stand with the people of Iran. Hey, go and take your freedom, man. Go and fight for it. And I tell people, the United States, we can help, but we can't secure your freedom and liberty for you. I mean, hell, but we can barely secure our own freedom and liberty right now because we're on the verge of losing stuff little by little because, we want comfort, but we've had people in our past that have fought for our freedom and liberty. But now Iran is at that tipping point where, what's the old saying? You have to be willing to plant trees in which you will never be able to enjoy the shade of. The people in Iran are going to die, and they are dying. But you have to stick to the revolution in order to get the freedom and liberty you want and deserve. We can help you, but we can't secure it for you, man. We just can't do it. It's not our job. But, I do believe that, we should give some assistance to it. And I would absolutely love to see Iran become a free nation like they were in the 70s before the I forgot who took over, the Islam people, the Muslims took over, man. So, I mean, you look at pictures of Iran back in the day, bro, Iran looked dope. I mean, the women were free, just living their lives. They weren't covered up wearing burqas, yo. And now all of a sudden, for the last 40, 50 years, they've been under this tyrannical leadership of this of Islam, man. So these people want to be free, man. And I wish them the best of luck, man. So. And before I get ready to get out of here, man, it's getting to that time, man. I'm surprised I'm doing done as okay as I have. It's been a minute, but man, I keep coming across people over the last few weeks that keep asking me, bro, why are you still policing? You've had so many injuries. Why are you still doing this job? When are you going to hang it up, man? Like, why? And, and I tell people, yeah, I'm going into my 17th year of policing this year. And when I hear people ask me that question, I'm always questioning like, why do you want me to hang it up? What does it have to do with you? And people say that to me. I think it's out of concern for my health, just because, it's like 17 years of policing is rough, man. And, the injuries I've sustained, man. And I know that people want me to be safe, but I don't think people realize what policing has done for me over the last 17 years. Policing has given me a purpose. Putting on this uniform, man, and going to work, it has been what I needed since I got out of the military. It has been what I needed since my divorces and since my mom's death. I mean, it has been what I needed because it gives me a purpose beyond myself. And man, so yeah, I'm going to keep doing this job, man. And I'm not going nowhere no time soon because I still believe in policing. I still believe in what I do. I like where I work. I like who I work with. Man, I love being a cop, man. Through all the turmoil over the years, 2015, 2018, 2020, I mean, man, losing partners in the line of duty and burying friends and seeing my friends' widows cry and their children grow up without them, seeing how policing has destroyed some people's lives and helped giving them addictions. And I mean, man, through it all, I still love this profession more than you could ever imagine, man. Like God created me and called me to be a police officer. And I'm going to continue to do that until I can't do it no more, man. And it's in my blood. It's just in me, man. I can't, I'm at a point where it's like, man, yeah, it was nice to have a break over the last couple months being off from work. And I haven't really thought about a lot of police stuff, but man, I still got that itch to get back out there and get in the streets, man. Like, you know, they from Iraq to all the crazy stuff I've done, you would think I'd just be ready to just kind of sit at home, collect the paycheck and live my life. But no, I'm not ready yet, man. I'm only 41, about to be 42 in May, and I still love getting up and getting out here and getting after it, dude. It's just something in me I can't explain, but man, I tell people all the time, but policing saved my life. Literally saved my life, man. If it was not for policing, I probably would not be here, because this job gave me something to focus on, something to strive for. This career has given me something to be proud of beyond myself, man. I mean, I get to go out and help people solve their problems, you know, and maybe just for the day or for a couple hours, maybe not permanently, but man, I'm able to, when I police, I'm able to take the focus off myself and focus on others, man. And I mean, dude, like I said, the amount of thankfulness you get for doing this job, it's little to none. But man, there's nothing that makes my day more than when somebody I don't know approaches me and they tell me that they remember me and I helped them with this incident long ago. Like, I've had people come up to me like, man, I don't know if you remember me, but 15 years ago, man, and I don't remember the incident, but like, man, I changed that person's life and I helped them in a time when they needed me. That's special, man. That's special. And you know what? You don't get that a lot in life. And I could count on one hand the times that has happened. But I tell you what, I am so thankful for those times and those moments, man. And it makes what I do absolutely worth it. So stop asking me when I'm leaving and when I'm retiring. I'm not going nowhere, man. I'm on this bus until the wheels fall completely off, dude. So I'm all in, man. I love policing. I love cops. I love this profession with all my heart, dude. I do. But when I do decide to hang it up and move on, I'll let you know. Just know it ain't coming no time soon, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Like I said, it's been a long one. It's been a minute since I've been back, but I'm definitely back. We'll see. We'll see when I come back up and do another one. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm sure I've lost a lot of followers over that time frame, and understand it's cool. Trust me, man. I was told if you're gonna do podcasts, you got to be consistent, and I just not been that. But we'll see what the future holds. I don't know. You know, we'll see how things go with the video. Still figuring out a lot of stuff, man. Like I said, I'm still laying low on social media. But if you want, like I said, you can follow me on social media. I am Pitts1 on Instagram, and God, I don't even know what my TikTok is. I mean, I ain't been on it forever, but I think it's just look up I Am Pitts on TikTok, man. You'll find me on there, dude. I'm all over. You know, I got the I Am Pitts page on Facebook as well. And also, I just realized like January 2nd was 4 years to the date my book been published. And that was actually 20 years to the date I got blown up, yo. So it's hey, man, I've accomplished a lot in life. So I'm good. If I die tonight, I die a happy man, full of just hope and or happiness and joy, man. I've done it all. I've seen it all, man. It's been a good life, man. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and hop off out of here. And I'll see you all on the next one, whenever that is. Y'all have a good one. Take care.